right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at how the physical and social structures of our world are radically splitting into two parallel realities. We often think of extreme wealth as luxury cars or giant mansions, but today, we're going to look at a hidden geography. We're looking at a world where the ultimate luxury isn't a physical possession at all. It's privacy, access, and above all, security. I want to hook you immediately with this staggering number, 20 million. Across the globe right now, there are over 20 million private security workers. To put that into perspective, that's more than the entire population of countries like Chile or the Netherlands. What we're witnessing is the quiet, steady formation of a massive unseen army that is dedicated entirely to protecting private individuals and their assets. And the scale of this parallel economy is just massive. Right now, the global market for private security services sits at an estimated $180 billion. Now compare that to the $140 billion that humanity spends globally on foreign aid to end poverty. Let that sink in for a second. We, as a global society, are literally spending significantly more money to protect private wealth than we are to eradicate poverty. So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the private security boom, then take a look inside exclusive gated communities. From there, we'll explore the practice of buying private police forces, dive underground into billionaire doomsday bunkers, and finally, look at what this all means for inequality and future conflict. Okay, Section 1, the private security boom. Let's see how this unseen army is actually vastly surpassing public police forces worldwide. Now, you might assume this kind of thing is only happening in places with struggling governments, right? Well, look at the United States. Right now, there are over 1.1 million private security guards, compared to just 660,000 public police and sheriff's officers. Private guards are massively outnumbering public police, even in one of the wealthiest nations on Earth. And I think this quote from Town & Country magazine captures the vibe perfectly. They said, "The bodyguard is the new nanny." Constant security has just become a routine expectation. Wealthy families are employing personal security teams that follow them everywhere, during travel, daily routines, public appearances, you name it. The sheer scale of wealth creation for a select few has basically made around-the-clock protection the new baseline. Moving to Section 2, inside exclusive gated communities. Let's look at the physical strongholds where all this wealth is concentrated. In these elite neighborhoods, you aren't just seeing beautiful houses, you're seeing extreme, highly integrated security measures. Take a place like Beverly Park in Los Angeles, hidden deep in the hills, heavily surveilled, and uniquely, it doesn't even have sidewalks. The architecture itself is deliberately designed to completely prevent casual public access. They rely on facial recognition, license plate readers, and 24/7 armed guards to maintain an absolute barrier. So the crucial takeaway here is that geography is basically being weaponized for privacy. Whether it's a single access road on Star Island in Miami acting as a perfect choke point, or the immense 1,200 acres of Wyoming's Indian Springs Ranch creating a natural secluded buffer, or even a 123-room estate in LA completely surrounded by a brick wall and a fully staffed security detail. Total control over who gets in is the defining feature. On to Section 3. Buying private police forces. What happens when affluent neighborhoods want security that stretches way beyond their own gates? This brings us to a really fascinating and honestly complex situation in St. Louis, Missouri. There's a private security company called the city's Finest that actually hires off-duty, fully uniformed St. Louis Metropolitan Police officers. Wealthy neighborhoods form taxing districts, pooling millions of dollars to hire this company. The end result? You have sworn city officers patrolling rich areas in their official police SUVs, essentially creating two entirely unequal tiers of policing inside the exact same city. And the situation escalates even further. Investigative reporting uncovered emails where the owner of this private firm offered direct cash bounties to these off-duty cops for catching specific criminals. Think about how wild that is. Public servants are usually strictly prohibited from taking private rewards, yet here we have private money directly incentivizing public police officers to prioritize the wealthy neighborhoods that can afford to pay them. It's a massive gray area. Okay, Section 4, Billionaire Doomsday Bunkers. Because gates and guards aren't enough, this desire for total survival is extending deep underground. Just look at this figure, $270 million. That's the estimated cost of a secretive compound being built by Mark Zuckerberg in Hawaii. Based on planning documents, it includes a massive 5,000 square foot underground shelter designed to be 100% self-sufficient with its own food and water. The whole project is shrouded in military-grade secrecy, with construction workers bound by incredibly strict NDAs. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer extremes of the survival industry. They're designing fortresses straight out of a dystopian novel. We're talking architectural plans featuring 30-foot deep lakes skimmed with flammable liquid to create a literal ring of fire around the compound. They're installing water cannons that can be used to repel the public during a crisis. It's a level of extreme preparation built entirely on the assumption of a major societal collapse. Finally, Section 5, Inequality and Future Conflict. Let's explore the inevitable frictions these parallel realities are predicted to cause. To really understand the stakes, we have to look at analysis from completely different ends of the spectrum. First, from a military perspective. Analysts like Ralph Peters, writing in the U.S. Army War College Quarterly, view this worldwide polarization of wealth as a critical threat. His analysis suggests that as governments fail and cultural systems break down, the divide between the ultra-rich and the expanding underclass is inevitably going to spark brutal new forms of class warfare. But then, on the flip side, we see a remarkably similar warning from activist leaders. Gail Bradbrook, the co-founder of Extinction Rebellion, warns that our current economic system has destruction basically baked into its design. She points out that as things fail, we risk collapsing into an eco-fascistic surveillance state. It's incredibly sobering that both military strategists and environmental activists are observing the exact same trajectory towards systemic collapse and severe societal friction. The architecture of our world is fundamentally changing. On one side, you've got flammable moats and private armies. On the other, increasing vulnerability for everyone else. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. As we witness these unprecedented shifts, and as the divide between these two realities grow wider every single day, what is your role and your agency in shaping the future outside those gates? Really think about that. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.